Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope all is well. I'm just going to make this little video and go over the modifications that I have to my Glock pistol. Now, I have two Gen 319s that you see here. I've had quite a few people want me to sell these Gen 319s, but I'm going to keep them. One of the reason is because all the parts are interchangeable from Gen 1 all the way through Gen 3. My weapon's taken down a little bit further than operator's maintenance. I advise you all, if you have a Glock pistol or whatever weapon system you have, either take the class on that weapon system or at least buy the video and buy spare parts for your weapon. Like I do right here. I have spare parts. Anytime I go to the range, I've worked on other people's guns more so than myself, even taking classes. A lot of instructors, if you take a class, will ask you to bring two guns just in case one goes down. And I've taken classes where I've seen a person's weapon go down and they had to use someone else's weapon. Someone just said, okay, well, hey, you can use mine. All right. First and foremost, what I want to talk about is, I will say, the barrels. Okay. Now, is it necessary to go from the OEM barrel to an aftermarket barrel? That all depends on you. Uh, I will be honest with you and say it wasn't a need. It was more so a want. I have shot some lead 9mm. I can't find it anymore, but I have shot lead 9mm. But however, is the match grade barrel more accurate than the OEM part? Yes. But let's again, like I said, it was just a want. I mean, it was something I wanted. I liked the way it looked versus the OEM part that's all black. But I have, like I said, I shoot a lot, so you see the wear on my weapon. I mean, on my barrel. And then I have a suppressor. So of course, with a suppressor, I had to go ahead and purchase a threaded barrel. But so what am I getting with the match grade barrel? Well, it is a tighter fit. And say for instance, if I was only getting 100 feet per second, I've cornoed ammunition, especially my game time ammo. And with my game time ammo, say for instance, a Federal 115 grain plus P plus, it's rated at 1300, but out of a 4-inch barrel, you'll probably get, depending on what lots you get, you might get 1230, 1250. Well, I can tell you with the match grade barrel that I'm getting 1280, you know, and so I do like that. And I did a video on ammunition already. So, but I will say this again, guys, the strength of the 9mm in its speed. It was invented on a 124 grain bullet, but however, a 115 grain plus P or a plus P plus, they have better street credentials. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to get into it much. But however, again, is it necessary? No. When we look at confrontational distances that you will use your pistol to defend yourself at, the OEM part is just fine. I just spent the money and got something different. Okay. The next thing is, this is your 5.5 pound connector that most of your Glock pistols come with the exception of the G34 and the 35. They come with 4.5 pound connectors. Now this is a 3.5 pound connector. Now this weapon right here, I only have two hands, but it is not. Matter of fact, I need to charge it. Stand by. Okay, but there's nothing in this pistol, even though the magazine's in. Well, for those people who will bash me, I'm gonna go ahead and take that magazine out, and I am gonna go ahead and show clear. Okay, I guess I should just go ahead and do that. All right, and as you see on here, I have a match grade barrel also. The trigger pull on here is nice. It's much cleaner and it's much smoother with the 3.5 pound connector. So every last one of my Glocks have 3.5 pound connectors on them, and this is the Ghost Premium. The other 3.5 pound connectors that don't have the little holes in them, but this is a Ghost Premium 3.5 pound connector, And like I say, this is the OEM part. You can kind of see the difference. All right, 5.5 pound trigger pull, 3.5 pound trigger pull. The next thing, I didn't bother to take it out, but this is a Vickers magazine release, and this is the Glock OEM part. The Vickers part, it just protrudes a little more, and I can actually, even though I do flip my pistol, and I did a video on changing magazines. Even though I turned the pistol to get on the magazine release button, how I was trained to do it. With the Vickers part, I don't have to flip the pistol, but I still flip it. It's just a force of habit. But like I say, the OEM part, it doesn't protrude as much. Okay. The next thing is your takedown lever. This is the OEM part. As you see on the end right here, how it's straight up and down. This is from Brass Stacker. As you see, it's longer, and you see it comes down at a curve. It's not straight up and down, so it comes down on a curve, so you can get a better purchase. Excuse me, to take your pistol apart. And like I say, that's Brass Stacker. Another thing I want to talk about, the plastic part. Look, before these aftermarket parts came out, and the very first Glock pistol that I purchased was a Gen 2, only when they made the Glock 17. I never had a problem. But however, again, it was more so a want and not a need. But I've heard stories. James Yeager from Tactical Response did 1,000 rounds firing a Glock 19, and the plastic guide rod melted. But however, with the spring still in there, it still cycled the weapon. And I forget how many rounds it was when that plastic guide rod melted. Maybe you can look it up on YouTube. Don't know if the video is still there. But however, this again is from Brass Stacker. A lot of places make them, but this is a stainless steel guide rod. And also, I forget the weight of the OEM part. Let's say it's 15 pounds. I went ahead and still stayed with 15 pounds, but you can get these much less and much higher. I personally will stay with the OEM pounds. And okay, what else I have here? Okay, this is the Glock. This is your slide stop lever. As you see on Glock, it's nice and flat. Then later on, Glock came out with their own extended slide lever. You can see the little difference on there right here with this triangle. I mean, I got it upside down, but that's cool. But I just wanted the Vickers part, and so the Vickers part, it protrudes out. So you see the difference how it protrudes out versus the OEM part that is totally straight. Okay, watch it again. This is totally straight, and the Vickers part protrudes out some. This way, I can get a good purchase on here. Okay, I can get a good purchase on here when I do my reloads. Okay, so that's why I got that part. For those who don't know, to take down the Glock pistol, this is the Glock Armor's tool. But however, there's a aftermarket part, and this is also Vickers. Let me pull this out here. And for the Gen 3s, so don't get the Gen 4s because they fall out. My Glock 17 is a Gen 4, and there's two pieces to this. And I'm on a range, and I'm shooting, and then all of a sudden I look and the pieces out. But this right here, you can use to take apart your pistol too. And again, just like this one here, it fits right up in there. Okay. And let me see what else. And, that's basically it. One thing that I want to say, trigger reset, or some people call it catching the link. So again, I should have two hands when I'm doing this, but let me charge this real quick. I'm gonna keep my finger on the trigger. Okay, now listen. Some people take their finger all the way off. I kind of did it by mistake here. But after you finish firing, you realign your sights and you reset your trigger. Now, let me tell you something in case you don't know this, because I saw it happen on the range. A guy fired his weapon and he didn't know how to reset his trigger. He was always taking his finger off. And this is what happened. The trigger did not reset. Again, me being a Glock armor and having spare parts, I worked on his gun, got it back up and running. Now you see that spring that's right in there? The cause of that problem is that spring breaking. And that spring happens to break and you fire your weapon. And if you take your finger off of it while it's in cycling, this is what's going to happen. But don't fear, okay? Especially if you're in a fight. All you want to do is you're going to rack one round out, but hold the trigger down and cycle the weapon, and then reset it, and the weapon will be just fine. But like I said, if you fire your weapon and it fires and everything else, and that trigger doesn't go back up, then that spring that's right down in there, let me see if I can get it. Yeah, but that spring, hold on a second. Take it apart and show it to you. This spring right here, that spring broke. And that's the problem. All right? Okay, so that is my Glock pistol. Everybody be safe.